Hello and welcome to History with Mr. E. And today we're going to talk about 24.2, what led or what was the causes of World War One. During the Progressive Era, which lasted through Wilson's presidency, the United States was dedicated to world peace. Remember, Teddy Roosevelt was all about speaking softly and carrying a big stick. He didn't allow anybody to take advantage of anybody, but at the same time, he wanted to work out world problems through peaceful diplomatic means, and that's the way Taft was, and that's the way Wilson was too. But that's not the way that Europe was. What are the causes of the war? Spiritual decay that we talked about with this corrupt philosophy. Fanatical nationalism, which we talked about also yesterday. Border disputes between Germany and France because of the Napoleonic Wars, which we talked about yesterday. And then army building. Especially Kaiser Wilhelm II of Germany wanted to show off the strength of the German army and built a massive army. They'd fought some smaller battles or smaller wars and taken lands from weaker countries in a show of strength, and the Germans thought that they could build a strong empire in Germany. But that's not why the war or how the war started. It is kind of why the war started. Also, they had two major alliances in Europe. The Triple Alliance, which became the Central Powers, which was Germany, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and Italy, and the Triple Entente, which is a French word for entente, which was the Allied powers eventually when the war finally started, and that was Great Britain, France, and Russia pre-communism. This was Imperial Russia under Tsar Nicholas II. One of the biggest problems that led to the war was a rivalry over land in the Balkans. Russia wanted to control all the Slavic nations, which basically after World War II, the communists did for a large part. Germany and Austria wanted to expand their empires further into the Slavic nations. England wanted to keep others out of all these places, to keep an open route to India because they had favorable trade with India and ruled India for quite some time. I don't know if they're still in control. Turkey wanted to remain relevant other than, for about a month each year, mostly toward the end of November. Yes, that was a joke. Turkey wanted to remain relevant on the European scene, and all the Baltic nations opposed Turkey because, they didn't like their coffee that much, apparently. So Europe was at a tenuous, peaceful state, just ready to explode into war at any time. It could have been a small war, could have been a large war, but they were ready for war. And then they found their excuse to start a war. Archduke Francis Ferdinand and his wife, those were the heirs to the Austro-Hungarian Empire, were shot by a Serbian assassin in Bosnia in the town of Sarajevo while on a motorcade, I think. They both died eventually, and Austria and Serbia tried to make peace for about a month, but it just wasn't going to happen. So this happened on June 28th, 1914, and war was declared on July 28th, 1914. Austria finally just got fed up with trying to talk it out and declared war on Serbia, July 28th, 1914. By August 30th, Russia had begun to mobilize. By September 1st, Germany declared war on Russia. This was Germany's big chance to make themselves into a big empire, is how they saw it. They sent troops through Belgium and toward France because they knew that France was the key on the European continent, to rule the European continent. England declared war on Germany in order to aid Belgium, and the battle lines were drawn. The Central Powers that made up the Triple Alliance ended up being Turkey, Bulgaria, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and Germany. And the Allied powers ended up being Great Britain, France, Russia, Serbia, Belgium, Romania, Japan, Portugal, Montenegro, Greece, and Italy. Now you'll notice that Italy left the Central Powers and joined the Allied powers, because Italians don't like turkey. They don't like it smoked, fried, or baked, unless you have a bunch of grease in it. But Greece was with the Allied powers, so okay. I'm gonna quit making jokes and get on with historying. Well, actually, that's it today. The war has begun. Boom!